When Austin Theory made his WWE debut in 2020, he was destined for greatness. But little did he know what series of events that would ultimately transform his career for the worst. One moment he was at the top, fighting with guys like John Cena and Stone Cold, to even holding the Money in the Bank. But soon that all went south and WWE initially fumbled when it mattered the most. And it all started in 2021 where he won the Money in the Bank, but before we can talk about that, we got to rewind a little bit and talk about how he got to that moment. Theory was a part of the yearly pay-per-view at the time, Survivor Series, and eliminated Sheamus for his respective team. He ultimately got eliminated from Jeff Hardy shortly after, but just in that short of time, he had made a really good impression, as in the next night on Raw, he had the backing of the Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and he was pushed in the main event of the night in a WWE Championship match against Big E, which he ultimately lost. And that brings us to the next thing that was holding him back, and that was his alliance with Vince McMahon. Now everyone knows why this didn't age so well looking back at it now, but Vince initially saw something in Austin that nobody saw. On the January 17th, 2022 episode of Raw, after defeating Finn Balor, McMahon rewarded Theory a spot in the Royal Rumble match. This was one of the many opportunities McMahon would reward to Theory just because Vince saw him as the guy. He didn't win the Royal Rumble match as he only lasted 22 minutes, getting eliminated by AJ Styles. The following Raw, he would win a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber, which he also lost. But this was the peak of the alliance, as this started a feud with Pat McAfee, ultimately creating a match with Theory at WrestleMania. And of course, this didn't go unnoticed with a little bit of cheating in Theory's favor, but somebody else has something in mind. Stone Cold Steve Austin's Vince's old rival had come down and hit Austin and McMahon with a stunner, thus ending their on-screen alliance. He then inserted himself in the United States title picture and won it off of Finn Balor to become the youngest United States champion in WWE history. But this was short-lived, as in 75 days later he would lose it to Bobby Lashley. Later that night, he was inserted into the Money in the Bank ladder match and ultimately became on top. Austin Theory was the new Mr. Money in the Bank, and that leads us to the next entry. Normally, when somebody wins the Money in the Bank contract, they cash it in at the right place at the right time to hopefully walk out as champ. But with Austin, he would fail to cash it in. Not just once, not just twice, but 3 times. Not only did this make him the dumbest person to hold the Money in the Bank, but he legitimately looked like a fool doing it. And not only that, but when he did it, he cashed it in on a prone Seth Rollins just to lose his match, and the worst part about it was a mid-card belt. And some of you who haven't watched wrestling may think, oh, well that's good, right? No. Usually how a Money in the Bank cash-in works is you usually do it on the World or WWE title. And you're probably saying, well, he's the first ever to do it on a mid-card belt. And to you I say, at what cost? He still lost and looked silly when he did. And to make this even worse, Seth was limping on one knee and still won. Anyways, let's move on. Austin Theory did get his United States title back in the triple threat with Rollins and Lashley. He then would defend it in an Elimination Chamber match, being the first time it was contested in that steel structure, and he even wrestled Edge for it on the following night on Raw. And I know what you're thinking, he's winning and he looks like he's on the up and up, so where's the fall? Well, some will debate that cash-in harmed his career, but I think this next thing did. A couple weeks following Raw, Austin Theory challenged John Cena to a match at WrestleMania. And Cena accepted, and a lot of people really wanted to see him win, as he elevated the United States title a couple years prior in the notorious US Open Challenge. He even wore his classic red, white, and blue outfit so you knew it meant business. But one thing was against John Cena, and that was time. He looked good and moved effortlessly, but he wasn't young anymore. This means that Theory had an advantage on him, and advantage he did, as he actually won. Yes, there were some shenanigans involved, but he still won clean. So how was this a bad thing? He got a rub and was put over by one of the greats. Well, this is where WWE fumbled again, because they didn't really do anything with this win. You would think this would elevate him to the next level, maybe in the main event scene, but nope. If anything, he got drafted to SmackDown and was put in a short-lived faction with Pretty Deadly, and then lost his United States title to Rey Mysterio, ending his 258-day reign. Obviously, this didn't ruin his career completely, because at least he got to be in a segment with The Rock. But how can you win the Money in the Bank your second year to marking out to The Rock? Maybe his career can go on the up, as he would win the tag team championships with Grayson Waller, also being awarded the new tag team champions by Triple H. But most people, just like me, think he could turn face and turn all of this around, being a likable babyface. He clearly has adversity. Maybe this can be the start of something new, but only time will tell. Let me know what you guys think about Austin Theory. Do you think he can turn his career around, or do you think he's gonna fall in the line with the other guys who had potential, but that WWE ultimately fumbled? This was Cherish from TLC, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.